Welcome, bienvenidos, gente, a Woke Wellness Wednesday. We are really excited to get a new addition in the family. I'm not going to say who, but as per usual, Alec, get your ass over here. How you doing?
Oh, it's good to be back. It feels good to be back. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Woke Wellness Wednesday. I am so excited for today's guest.
It's smoking hot with who we're bringing. Okay, why don't you tell us a little bit? Go ahead, bring it to me.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have somebody on here to open up a little bit, to just show what it means to be honest and what it means to be self-accepting and what it means to tackle those demons that we all wrestle with. Ladies and gentlemen, we have the influencer, the YouTuber, the TikToker, the Instagrammer. We have Kylie on here to talk a little bit.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Hola, hola. Hi.
Hello.
Excited to be here.
Excited to have you, and by all means, welcome to Woke Wellness Wednesday. This
Cheers,
is
everyone.
Usual. Alec, grab your mug, get comfy. We're probably going to talk about things that trigger you. Cheers to triggers.
Love that.
So guess Kylie, is it I don't want to mispronounce it, so can you just tell me?
Kylee Rackam.
Kylee Rackam. Okay.
Ooh, we're gonna rack up those points. We're gonna rack them up.
Yeah.
So you know that this is what the internet knows you as. What made you choose that last name?
For privacy reasons, but also because I love the show Black Sails, and there's a character on there, Jack Rackham. I just took the H off his name so people wouldn't compare me to a rack of ham, and then I let the name stick, and there we go.
Okay, just so you guys know, this is moi. The misconceptions, and obviously I think you guys know what we might be talking about. Let them guess. What are we going to talk about? Okay, they're not answering me. It's fine. Okay, we are going to talk about I gave them 3 seconds. It's really like not that big of a deal. Alec, why don't you take us with the first question?
Yeah, absolutely. So I guess we're going to kick it off here. So what made you want to come public with this? What made you want to kind of talk about it in a public platform?
So I have 2 disorders, borderline personality disorder and narcissistic personality disorder. 4 years ago, I was diagnosed with only BPD. I was bored. I was like, you know what? I see a lot about TikTok. Fuck it. Let's make an account. Can I swear?
Yeah. By all means.
Okay. So went on there, made a bunch of videos, and I was like, you know what? This is fun. And
bring on the fuck 'em train. We're here for it.
And I popped up, and I was a mental health creator for a while, and long story short, got into an abusive relationship with another narcissist, which is very ironic. And after that, I was like, off-grid, internet, goodbye, deleted all my platforms, and spent about 2 years healing. And then last November, I was like, you know what? I'm ready to come back. Let's do it. Let's go. So I went back online, and then 2 months later, I got diagnosed as a narcissist. So I was like, oh, well, I'm a mental health creator. Let's fucking talk about it. Let's do it. Why not?
So that's pretty interesting. I guess kind of like, can I hit this question? And if it's not a thing, it's just hitting me right now as a question. But essentially, do you feel like the patterns of within yourself are echoing in your outside life? And then it comes to a point where now you're able to address it.
What do you mean?
Well, because you said you dated a narcissist, and then you found out you're a narcissist.
Yeah, I mean, it does feel kind of weird knowing I have a disorder of someone who treated me very badly. So it's like, oh, am I the same? But it wasn't really them that did it. It was more so just the fact that I was like, you know what? There's a stigma around this disorder, and I want to address it. I want to talk about it, and I want to tell people that narcissists can recover and be self-aware. I know there's a misconception. There's not, but you can be.
What do you mean recover or repair?
So it's not fully curable, just like with borderline personality disorder. It's developed in childhood trauma, so brain development. You can't cure it, but you can go to therapy to manage it and reduce your symptoms and behaviors. So that's what I'm doing.
Well, I
All
think
right, we got Ireg from Music Monday in here. I'm in this piece. That's right. This is where we's at. Okay. Oh, Miranda, she's got us. She's got us, ladies and gents, and Joe DiMaggio's and Marilyn Monroe's, you juicy fruits. I'm a survivor of narcissist abuse, and I have questions. Good. Bring them on.
Ask away.
You see, this is why I was so excited for this episode, because you have things that like everyone can relate to, whether it's specifically narcissism or when it comes to just acknowledging your demons, because that's something that a lot of people struggle with, because it has to do with like facing the music, and nobody wants to do that, but that is the first step to healing.
Yep.
And it's something that everyone is struggling with right now. Obviously, everyone's like different with what they're struggling with, but at the same time, this is a step that we can all learn from. So I'm so excited for this audience to hear what you have to say, hear your story, and hear some tips and advice you have. Because like honestly, like this is gonna benefit literally anybody who listens. You know what I mean? Because like this is a topic that's a huge thing right now.
All right.
So,
ask away.
Who? Alec? I like it when you ask questions. That's why you're here. Go ahead.
Okay, so what would you say the definition of narcissism versus the perspectives that people have about narcissism? And like, is there a big difference? And there's something that we should know about? Because like, obviously people create their own definitions based upon their experiences with narcissistic people. So what is the definition itself?
Narcissism is narcissistic personality disorder. It is a disorder caused by trauma. People think it's just a synonym for a toxic person or an asshole or a cheater or a liar, and that is not the case. For someone to be a narcissist, you have to be diagnosed with a specific set of criteria by a professional. You can't just diagnose someone for them. And for some reason, online it became this buzzword to call everyone a narcissist. If you ask anyone, like, hey, like your ex, like, tell me about them, they would probably call them a narcissist. Most people do have at least one narc ex, and it's a buzzword, and it's a word that's so commonly misconstrued and misused. And therefore, what a narcissist actually is someone who has a disorder that revolves around inferiority, entitlement, arrogance, and the trauma that they built in with these defenses that causes a wall of shame. And they have to basically break through that because there's a lack of empathy there. And yeah, it's a disorder that has a stigma, sometimes for a reason, but also the internet buzzword definitely added to the stigma in not a helpful way.
Okay.
Wait, say that last bit one more time.
There's a stigma because when untreated and when unmanaged, narcissists can inflict trauma. I hurt a lot of people over the years when I was not in treatment. But there also is a stigma when everyone and their fucking mother is calling someone a narcissist and they're not. So that just piles on to the stigma. So there's this whole big, they call it the evil person disorder, essentially. And basically I'm treated as subhuman in my like comment section of my videos. So
I guess I have a question because I think I'm a heavy duty empath. And I think these kind of personalities latch onto me. And I would say since I lost my mom and my brother, I'm a lot more sensitive, yet a lot more ruthless. I don't know how to explain it. I feel like I've become
That's a pretty good definition for you, Dahlia.
Yeah, I'm sensitive, but will I, do something bipolar dramatic? Yes. I will. I will. And I want to I don't know, it's Irek said debatable. That's to me. Dang it. Shut up.
Irek, my guy.
But I don't know. I guess, do you think do you think narcissists latch onto empath? Yes or no?
I wouldn't say empath specifically, just people that have people-pleasing tendencies, codependent people, or people that lack poor boundaries.
Yes. Okay. That makes.
Okay, you said that all super fast, and there was all some shit I need to write down. Say it again. What'd you say?
People pleasers, people that are codependent and anxiously attached, and like obsessively like, latch onto someone. And I already forgot the last one. Do you remember it? People pleasers.
People
I wrote
pleasers.
it down. People pleasers. Ain't
Oh.
nobody a people pleaser.
And poor boundaries.
Yes. So in my own experience, I've experienced a couple of people who definitely, they were not diagnosed, but like they fit all of those marks. And the thing is the fact that one of them was dating somebody who's an absolute people pleaser. And it's almost like I had this visual. It's almost like as if somebody is like a piece of metal with a hole in it, which is like the people pleasing tendency. And then the narcissist latches on through the hole with a hook. And then that's how they have that leeway to have that narcissistic pull on them.
Yeah.
Because it's the people who want to please others and make them happy. And if they're not happy, then they feel anxious. Those are the people narcissists go for. And like those are the people that like, those are the people where they have the biggest grasp. They can like claw their way in and they can really get a hold of that person and keep them where they want.
I made a video about that actually. So when I was at my worst, and this is going to sound like I was an asshole, and I used to take pride in getting a strong reaction from someone. So when someone reacted when I purposely said something mean or did something cruel, and they had a strong reaction, and that those types of people were usually empaths, people pleasers, people that have poor boundaries. That was the reaction I was looking for. People that are secure in themselves would not put up with that. They would just leave. But those types of people, they would have an emotional reaction that I was looking for. I wanted them to react heavily. I had felt pride and I felt smug. And I was like, I accomplished what I meant to do. And therefore, it's a vicious cycle of this constant emotional reactivity over and over and over again.
Yeah, I mean, like, and I know I just said that people create their own definitions based on their experiences, but that definition fits in with my experience. I'm very cautious about people calling people narcissists because, like, after you and I talked that one day, like we went through that, I was like, until they're actually diagnosed, like, I don't know if I can really just put that out there into the world.
Yep.
But like in the back of my mind, I'm like, they have those tendencies though.
Yeah.
Because some people have tendencies, but they're not full blown narcissists.
Yeah. But a lot of people also just do the whole armchair diagnosing. And so if it's hard to separate and distinguish it, like if you're informed about psychology, fine. But a lot of the people that just hear, oh, all narcissists are cheaters, all narcissists are liars, they're just going to assume all of these negative connotations that aren't true.
Yeah.
And anyone can cheat, anyone can lie, anyone can do X, Y, and Z. So
yep.
Fine line.
Yep, I think that's a really good point to have too, because I think almost anybody in this stream right now can think of somebody in their life that like has done something narcissistic, but they're not an actual narcissist. So I think that's a really important thing to clarify and distinguish between those two things.
Yep, 100%.
So yeah, that's good. That's really good.
I mean, this is such a broad question.
Wait, Dahlia, read some comments.
Oh, what?
Is there?
Okay. Yes. Is there a big difference between someone who is a oh wait, we just answered this, right? Yes.
Yes. Kind of. I mean, just a narcissist is someone who has a disorder, narc tendencies. They don't have the disorder and they didn't develop it in their childhood. Anyone can develop narc tendencies. So if you were around a narcissist who had NPD, you can pick up on their traits and you can learn them. But I would not diagnose anyone with it and be like, oh,
I'm going to touch on this real quick because the reason I have Woke Wellness Wednesdays because I'm bipolar. My brother was schizophrenic. He passed away of fentanyl, and then my mom died of a heart attack. I think it's in my best interest to talk about mental health because of how it has destroyed my life. Schizophrenia has destroyed my ever-loving life. I'm here to talk about it. No one's going to give me a PhD in knowing the complexities of the human mind quite like I do.
Yep.
Promise you. Don't have a PhD, I got a beanie. Anyway, but going into what Irek said, like how okay, now I'm gonna go into a little bit of a tangent to bring it into a question. Like how many people misuse being bipolar and everything. I don't like it when people are like, oh, well, you're manic. That's why, or you're too much, or you're bipolar. That's why you're acting like this. And then it gets to the point where people are using that as ammo when that's not an angle that you want to be approached at. So does that happen with you?
Oh, absolutely. Mainly on the internet, not in real life, because people in real life, they can distinguish the fact that I'm a person and not just a walking label. But on the internet, I'll post a video and people will be like, oh, you're automatically doing it for attention. You're lying to the internet. It's a ploy. All narcissists do X, Y, and Z. People should look at the behaviors of the person and not the label, because the label is really just having all this stigma, not just with narcissism, but with any mental disorder. There is stigma around any disorder. So really it's the behaviors, less about the labels. The labels are just defining things that really just add a lot of just misconstrued bullshit.
You got it exactly. Ding, ding, ding. Oh my God. Does that mean we get another question? Okay. Did I ask this? Oh, did we do this? We did this, right? Yes, we did. Okay. When it comes to being public about, okay, so I guess I probably misspelled that. Whoops.
It's okay.
When it comes to being public about, so I guess
Narcissism?
we haven't quite touched on the BPD.
Yeah.
So I guess, did you want to touch on that?
I'll touch on it a little bit with borderlines, because they tend to obsessively attach to other people as their form of validation. They attract narcissists, and they attract people also that have unhealthy, a lot of the empaths, the poor boundaries, a lot of similar to narcissists, but also just people that enjoy the power struggle and the power dynamic that borderlines have. And so as far as what I repel, are you referring to like in the sense where like they're actually associating with me, or just like the internet, like people that I'm never gonna meet, like the commenters?
So, like, we're talking specifically about your experience, because, like, for your experience, you're talking from a real standpoint.
Yeah.
And like, we want to separate the clout from the clouds, really. The actual in between, where it's like the realism is right here. It's not about
No.
making videos. It's not about the cloud effects of like, hey, here's what people think it is. Here's what it actually is. Like, in your own experience, like what, like BPT, wow, BB, bipolar disorder.
Oh.
How has that, like, how have you found a way to like get past like those gates, those boundaries, those stepping stones, the things that trip you up in life? Like, how have you found a way to like cope with that?
How have I found ways to cope with the boundaries? Therapy. BPD is borderline personality disorder. It's different than bipolar, but a lot of that was trying to cultivate my own self-compassion and learn ways to regulate my emotions. As far as what I repel, I guess both with my BPD and my MPD, I repelled the same types of people, which is people that were secure in themselves, people that had strong boundaries, that did say no, that was not comfortable with the fucking bullshit that I would try to like, bestow onto people. They would leave. The people that I would attract were the ones that did not have those boundaries. And that was really what it boiled down to. People that did not advocate for themselves.
Bingo. Yeah, because it feeds into the ego, having a yes man versus having a, no man, or I don't know, or, I have an opinion man. That makes sense. I will definitely say, having Stay Woke or Not with my co-hosts and my, social media manager, it's had to keep me in check for sure. Having them as accountability, and navigating that. And it is hard, right? Because not in the future, we're going to have for Woke Wellness Wednesdays, personas in Hollywood. I think that's a big one. Weaponizing your character in public. How do people use your name to get into what doors, and how does that make you change how you view yourself? And where do you kind of fit yourself in reality? Like, hey, I'm still a person. Hey, I still need to worry about my inner circle. I guess for someone that is so openly in the public about, your emotions and how you deal with it, and kind of a checklist of how to take note, how do you protect your inner circle?
My inner circle in real life? Like outside the internet?
Yeah.
My inner circle does not care about my diagnosis, because they know I'm in therapy and they know I'm working on myself, and they don't really bring it up unless I specifically bring it up. And it's contained, and I have a very good, strong inner circle, and that's great. The internet, whole different story. But as far as the people in my life that actually know me and like are around me, my disorder is not an issue.
That's cool. Chicana Feminista. I've learned a lot from Kylie's vids.
Thank you.
Yeah. What was the biggest challenge you faced with your disorders?
With the BPD, it was a lot of emotional reactivity and a lot of, actually for both, it was just unstable relationships. I could not keep relationships. I kept circulating through them. I was manipulative and cruel and mean for many, many years. And I found that I had to be cruel because I didn't feel comfortable expressing vulnerability or positive emotions. So it was just this vicious cycle of me being this pessimistic, mean, just like downtrodden person who would feel better when others hurt as much as I did. And that was the challenge I faced. And then now internally, I struggle a lot with jealousy, entitlement, and some unstable emotions. But for the most part, a lot of it is just in here. I don't really voice it. And therefore, even my partner barely even sees the brunt of it just because I keep a lot of it inside. And that's a different type of struggle. Other people aren't witnessing it, but I'm witnessing it all the time in my head. So
do you think, because I'm in my head quite a lot, right? I think anyone in this chat is in their head quite a lot, right? It's easier to be in here than in here and find a modality, you know, between that. And I think, do you think overthinking is a drug? Overanalyzing is somewhat of a, I don't know, stimulant.
Yeah, my psych actually talked with her the other day. She said that I overthink so much that it is to my detriment because I go through my life basically psychoanalyzing a lot of what I do and overthinking every behavior that I do. And she said a lot of people just go through their life going through the motions and not actively thinking about things and interactions in the way that I do. And so self-awareness can almost become just a detriment if you're not careful or overthinking.
I think overthinking is kind of the downfall of everyone, because there's a saying that says you can't catch a overthinker off guard because they've already thought about it months ago. And to expect the worst is to allow the worst to happen.
Yep. Yeah. With the problem of overthinking, you just cultivate a problem that's so much bigger.
I got one for you. So there was a point in time, this is my story, I guess, with mental health. So in 2009, I had my first manic episode. I was 19 and found out my mom was using my credit, right? And I moved in with my, significant other at the time, and I was down and out. I'm living in Ventura. I'm like on an air mattress on the floor, and I found out my mom was using my credit. Okay. And my grandma wrote in a book about narcissism. And it said, to my daughter, I hope we can figure things out. And then I started realizing, I was like, am I a daughter of a narcissist? Yeah. She would put on these grandiose ideas. My kids are prodigies, and like hold us to this ideal to the public. So I'm not even sure. I've never even mentioned this on the show, to be quite frank with you guys. I'm totally, digging deep in the well on this one. But, basically my grandma gave my mom a book to have my mom address her. I didn't speak to her for 2 years. I was devastated. From 19 to 21, I didn't talk to my own mom. I mean, whoa, these are pivotal years in my life. And it got to a point where she found the teachings of Saint Germain and became very spiritual. And I think a lot of it dropped. And I think just all in all, dealing with a brother that dealt with schizophrenia in Los Angeles, where this city will take you and break you. Yep. I've been here a long time. You know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah, we're digging deep. Chicana Feminista user on this show, okay? Subscribe if you have not, because this is what we do here. But I was on a tangent. Fuck. Oh, fuck. Okay, yeah. I guess just saying that, like, my grandma addressed to my mom to a certain extent, I think you're a narcissist. And then I felt like I guess anyone can grow from any situation once you recognize what it is and ask for the help in order to take note of changing your behavior.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Okay. So I don't know. I think in those 2 years, I think she finally found a spiritual teaching that, she adheres by, and she changed. But for a while I was like, I am focusing. It has to do with the narcissism thing. I am focused. I'm focused, man. I'm totally here. I guess, I want to dig deep on this and ask you if other members in your family have roots and are willing to address any condition that you have in your family. Are they as honest and open as you are? Is why I'm asking this question.
Yeah, people in my family, they all struggle with mental illness in some form or fashion. They have eating disorders, depression, anxiety, bipolar, the whole gamut, a bunch of substance abuse and addiction. And they're very open about it. And therefore, I grew up in a household where it was kind of normalized, and therefore I was able to talk about it. But yeah, it was not always the healthiest, just because I grew up with people that didn't know how to process their own trauma, but they tried their best, and I care about them very much. And they're great now.
Was there a certain amount of time that you spent away from them and then it got better, or?
No, I actually stayed with them up until 3 months ago when I moved in with my partner. So and I'm 27, so I lived with my parents for a very long time, except for little short stints where I would occasionally go live with a partner, and that never worked out and come back. But yeah, I've been living with my partner, and it's going good.
Does anyone go to AA? I think Wednesdays are my AA. I don't get an AA meeting. Bipolar don't get an AA meeting. You're here. Hey, so this question is from Miranda. Alec, why don't you read it off to us?
Yeah, for sure. Do you think that every family has at least one person who suffers from NPD or has narcissistic tendencies? Oh, I'm going to say yes.
Why? I'm curious.
I have a family member, and I have friends that have family members, and I have friends of friends who have family members in my own experience.
But are they diagnosed?
Tendencies, not NPD.
Oh, okay.
Tendencies.
Yeah, especially the older generations where mental health was not talked about as much, and it was kind of like, repress your emotions, don't talk about it, keep it all stuff down. That caused a lot of generational trauma, especially because it was not it was a taboo topic for a very long time. And therefore those generations passed down a lot of things to their children, and narc tendencies definitely can be passed down.
Another one. You got another question. This is over here with Claudia. Hey, Kylie, thank you for being on this live. I have a question. How do you put up with people bluntly, that's really kind of hard to say right now, bluntly disrespecting you, talking over you, or misgendering nowadays?
I mean, I go by she, her, they, them. I really don't care if people misgender me. It's the internet, and usually when people do it, it's not out of malice. And if they are, it's trolls. So who cares? As far as disrespecting me, you're talking about real life. I don't really get that in real life. As far as disrespect, it's not because of my diagnosis. It's more just people can be assholes, and when that happens, I've learned not to act offensively, but to rather look at their perspective and be like, okay, why are they acting this way? But I definitely don't go on the defense and try to escalate the situation.
Yeah,
it's not malice, it's real life.
Exactly. Yeah, and I think that once you can realize that it is real life, and you can realize that you have that control, it's not about reacting, it's about responding. That's when that's when the script is flipped, and now you have control. One of my favorite things to do when people talk over me is when they start talking and go, okay, no, you go ahead, you can go, or I'll go, it's your turn.
Yeah, I tend to do that a lot by accident, just because my brain, I just tend to talk over people. So I do that to people, and I try to work on that. But yeah, bad habit.
Well, for me, it's about making a joke, but also making a point.
Yeah.
I don't think you talked over me. I think I talked over you.
I've been trying.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm sorry. I'm honest. Oh, I love it. You're cool, Kylie. Yeah, welcome to the fam. Okay, if you guys haven't already, press the like. This is definitely an amazing topic, and I'm excited that you're here.
Awesome.
Do me a favor. Did we go through this?
Yes, we did. The track.
Okay, did we go through this?
What are the key differences between BPD and narcissistic personality disorder? So it's essentially a Venn diagram, and you can have both. And a lot of people have this misconception that you can't. And I get a lot of people with BPD in my comments daily just really mad about the fact that I said I had both, and it's misinformation. It's not. BPD, MPD, they're very similar in the ways where they both suffer with chronic emptiness, suicidal ideation, self-harm, validation is a huge one. Feelings of inferiority, feelings of shame, a lot of it is based on trauma responses, and both disorders come from trauma, and it's just how you branched off and what disorder you developed. It's the cards that you were dealt with. You didn't get to choose what disorder. I got both, but you can't choose. You were a child when you developed it. And so narcissism comes more with this entitlement, with this arrogance, with this like I have this protective armor over me so you cannot hurt me. Whereas BPD more leans into it, and it's like, yeah, I'm a little bit of a victim and I want to attach to people so they can make me feel validated. And I'm not saying that in a rude way. It's just that that's usually the narrative, and that's usually what happens. So borderlines lean into it, whereas narcissists are like, no, armor.
Can I ask you a random question?
Sure.
To a narcissist, do you think people are a drug?
I wouldn't call them a drug, but I definitely used to think relationships were very transactional, where I would only really use them for a place to stay. I didn't really see them as people. I saw them as pawns.
Ah, interesting. Question from Jen Ziggin. Do you think people with special pronouns have tendency to be narcissistic?
No, I mean, no. There's so many disorders in the world where anyone can have any disorder, and there's nothing to do with pronouns. No.
The answer is no. Okay. How can someone differentiate between BPD and narcissistic behaviors?
So I would not even try to like go there where it's like try to differentiate between others, because that is veering into armchair diagnosing, and there is so much overlap. MPD, it can look like ADHD, autism, BPD, HPD, the list goes on. I can name 10 off the top of my head right now. So if you're not a professional, don't armchair diagnose someone. If you see behavior theirs you don't like, just be like, hey, I don't like this, and like I would really like if you seek therapy, and if they don't do it, set boundaries. But differentiating between yourself, I would suggest research. So if you feel like you come across any videos or articles and you're like, wow, this disorder, I resonate with it, research it, look at the symptoms online, then talk to a professional. Don't self-diagnose.
What are some resources that have helped you?
I mean, therapy has been the biggest one. And I feel like for a personality disorder, that is the main core treatment. Medication is really not for personality disorders. Therapy is like the gold standard.
Did you hear that?
Therapy is definitely something that everyone right now is like very hesitant to talk about, or like even mention, because like I feel like for a lot of people there is this invisible concept connected to therapy where people are like, oh, you're in therapy, so there's something wrong with you. When in reality, everybody could use therapy for something.
Wait, while we're on the topic, what's everyone's take on BetterHelp?
BetterHelp is a great way right now to get help when you need it, wherever you are. Because honestly, therapy, with the budget I'm on, that's a fuck no from me. So I cannot afford therapy. But the thing is that BetterHelp offers ways for you to get that help at affordable prices. And on top of that, you don't have to drive anywhere. You can do it from the comfort of your home. If you don't want to leave the house, that's fine. Get on a Zoom call. Get on a video call. And
you guys are gonna laugh at this one. I did Lyft in Austin, Texas, and I was a Lyft driver to a therapist on BetterHelp, and that's how I found out about it.
Nice.
So random. That's as close as I got to therapy. I drove her there. Okay. I drove her to her home. Okay. I dropped her off. The discussion was in the car, and then it was over. I wasn't coming back to it. I wasn't going to admit my faults. Okay.
The closest I got to therapy is I dropped someone off. That is a Dahlia 2024 quote.
Boom, 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 boom. You guys, this is going swimmingly well. Okay. What was it? It's much cheaper than regular therapy. I agree with Alec. Yeah. If you guys
Yes.
got the resources,
Yes.
don't feel
Thank
not
you,
free to
Miranda.
drop them.
Thank you.
Feel free to drop them. I said don't not feel free. What? I mean, feel don't not go there. Go there, please.
What?
Wait, you've never been to therapy? Of course I have a therapist, but they only see me once every 6 weeks and it's Los Angeles. And then you got to schedule it on the phone and then they call with no caller ID.
Once every 6 weeks. That explains a lot, Dahlia.
Okay, you know what? If anyone who is in here in the Los Angeles area that is a mental health advocate that wants to come on and we could talk about LA Unified, bring it. Bring it. It is non-existent. That is why we are doing a talk show. This is my therapy. Getting
Chicana said
that
she is a second therapist.
Oh, that's bougie. I love it. I don't have one, I have two. Ask me who takes the trash out. Not me. The third one. Not any of me. Oh, love your life. Love your life. Let me take it. I'd love to come on. I'm trying to advocate. Sure. Talk to me on the Stay Woke or Not Instagram. If you guys don't know, definitely go check that out. But right now, we're talking about things. You need to be in that bitch every week, Dahlia. Thank you. Yes.
Thank you.
If you know the phone number.
You are savage as always. You're saying exactly what we're all thinking. Thank you for saying.
You know what? Yeah, this is where the host gets roasted. Thanks.
We don't roast Dahlia very often, so she probably
we do. We always roast me, man. I'm always like, I got a sunburn, you know what I'm saying? Like the wrinkles are coming in and shit. Like, yeah, I get roasted here. Okay.
Yeah, no, it's
don't deny, somebody's bougie.
Hey, you know what? They haven't seen the screenshots from the group chat, so they wouldn't know. Actually, never mind.
Okay, you know what? I know this is off topic, but yeah, once every 6 weeks is not. I agree, it's not. Thank you. But yeah, once every 6 weeks. Okay, so you know what? That's why I really want to get to a better answer, because it seems like you are very self-aware. You've gone and done the research. You've figured out how to separate your inner life from your, I would say, again, going into online persona. I think that's really important. I guess energetically, do you like go, because I'm bipolar, so like I guess I'm type 1, so it's like I'll go through like extreme status of getting things done, or I'm completely in bed. Do you kind of, I guess I'm coming from the place of rapid cycling. Does that happen to you?
As far as like any sort of manic behaviors, no.
Okay, so that's not a thing. No. Interesting.
With BPD, there's like emotional like instability as far as mood swings, but they're very like short-lived, not like bipolar where the manic episodes are longer.
Gotcha. Okay.
Thank you, Chicana. Yeah, I'm always right. I wish I could just take this. I want to do a movie concept where every day you wake up with a new face. And I want you like every day, and then you have to live that reality for a week, and then your body's switching. Like, imagine. I'm not going to go there right now, but you know what?
Yes. Having nightmares tonight, but thank you.
Sorry, horror movies. Okay. Next question. Did we answer this?
No.
So what are some common symptoms and behaviors associated with BPD and narcissistic traits?
With BPD, it's a fear of abandonment, a lack of identity, reckless behaviors, impulsivity, mood swings, chronic emptiness, anger, and paranoid ideation. For MPD, it's grandiose self-importance and inflated sense of self to where you feel superior, or preoccupied with fantasies of being rich and powerful and famous one day, or believing that you're special or unique, requiring excessive admiration, sense of entitlement, so feeling like you deserve things, interpersonally exploitative, which means essentially the manipulating or feeling like you don't have a regard for other people's feelings. You tend to like step on people, like especially with like the corporate world, like climbing the corporate ladder. Yeah, cutthroat. Lacks empathy, jealousy, and arrogance. So I just listed off all the diagnostic criteria there.
Now that you're saying all this, I feel like back in the day, like back when like my earlier 20s, I had some of those tendencies. it wasn't until like my early to mid 20s that I really started to like practice like self-awareness and really started to practice like mental health.
Mm-hmm.
So I haven't really seen those tendencies since my early 20s, but back then I feel like I was so influenced by a family member who would have the same thing that I was like like almost like taking it on as my own personality.
Yep.
But then when I started to kind of free myself by like really focusing on meditating and kind of philosophizing about like who I need to be, who I wants to be, and instead of focusing on the fact that fame and riches, that's all that matters, it's like, no, live a life that you can look back on and be like, I lived a good life.
That is very common with anyone who has a parent or family member that has certain behaviors. You tend to pick up on them, but the good thing is if you pick up on them, you can unlearn them. But it's very, very common.
It wasn't easy. Let me tell you, that was not easy. I guess like until I started to like work on myself, I didn't really realize I had them. Because like for me, it was such a common occurrence for me to see it that I was like, oh no, this is how you're supposed to behave. But then I had some buddies of mine in the past called me out, and I was like, oh shit, all right, I guess I'm gonna go into my little cocoon and figure out what the fuck's going on and how to get out of it, because like quite frankly, that's a horrible way to live. Like I look back at how I was back then, and I just felt miserable all the time.
But you did get out of it.
Yeah, I got out of it. Like I feel much better now, but like back then, it's like. She said, "How do I join Dahlia?" This is Miranda. How do I join Dahlia? I'm sorry you invited, but I don't know how to join.
It seems like everybody. There's like 2 people that want to come and join this interview right now.
So
let me tell you something. Let me tell you.
So here's kind of the process. Basically, is you DM Dahlia. You kind of pitch her what the
pitch
concept is, and then like we'll get into like details from there.
Go for the 4th running. Give it all. Leave me a voice memo. I like voice memos. Okay,
I know you do.
I love them. You know why?
I know.
You hear the inflection and the miscontextual, texting.
Here's a little thing about Dahlia. Is the fact that she's a very visual person, so I'll tell her something and she's like, text it to me. But I'm like, okay, fine. But also, she loves voice memos. You can't.
I'm getting tested for autism. I want to join. God damn it.
Dahlia, pick a struggle. Seriously.
It's up to Kylie for if she wanted to have new characters pop on. I think it would be pretty funny.
Dude, for God's sake.
Why not?
Why not? Oh my God. Okay, things got interesting. Okay. All right. Check yo. Okay, boom. All right, let's see. Let's see if he actually does what he says what he's gonna do. Here we go. A question from Nick. How do you think your I guess they meant BPD has influenced the way you perceive and interact with others?
No, I think he meant MPD, the narcissism. It's everything's a competition, everything's a threat. I tend to view people as, if they do something, I need to outdo them. I need to outperform them, because if I don't, that means I'm inferior. That validates my beliefs that I'm not good enough, that I'm not worthy enough. And so it's this constant hypervigilance of not trusting others and not trusting myself. And it's a very exhausting way to view the world, because I'm constantly like on alert, constantly sizing people up. And it's not this like, I'm better than everyone, but it's more of like, I'm inferior and I need to prove I'm not.
Yeah, I think that's, again, that kind of like fits into description of the people that I know that have those tendencies. Again, like, because of the conversation we had, I'm not going to be like putting it out to the universe and I'm like, this person's a narcissist. They might just have tendencies.
Yeah.
Because ever since you said it, I like had this like overly sensitive self-awareness of like, shit, I've been saying the wrong thing the entire time. So I like when I interact with people like that, I'm very because like I don't like to judge people, and I feel like every time I call them that without knowing it, I feel judgmental now. So that's like the fact that you pointed it out made me very self-aware, and I enjoy that, because it's like it helps me to keep me in my own check. Because it's if you gotta make sure you don't say that people are one way when they might not be that way. They might just be semi that way.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was a very important point to point out. For me, at least, personally. Miranda, thank you for sending him a message. We'll see what happens. We'll see if we can get this going.
I love it, man. My whole audio system went down while you guys were talking.
No, it's fine. We didn't notice.
What did I miss? Oh my own channel. What did I miss?
We're talking to you the entire time.
Oh my God. Thank you. Charles. Delightful. Something yummy. Who said what? I love it. Oh, okay. Question for all. Do we as humans see people for who they are? Or do we have this mental filter that makes us see them on how we want to see them?
Who wants to go first?
Kylie, you go ahead. You go first.
It's the latter. Everything's perception. If you look at Dahlia differently than I look at Dahlia, that's how you pronounce it, right? Sorry. Anyone that in this world, no one looks at the same thing the same. Everything's perception. Everything's based off the way you think of things. So yeah, no one is like, for people who they are, like, who are they? It's,
you know what? This question I have an answer for. So are narcissists all sociopaths? Okay, I'm gonna give you guys my Venn diagram of Looney Tunes up in the family tree.
I was literally thinking about this earlier.
No, so my dad was diagnosed as a sociopath. I found that out when I was 11 years old, and he took my mom in and out of court for custody from when I was 4 to 17. I have been a product of the system, so to speak, forever. Going into that, a part of me wonders, right? If my mom was a narcissist and my dad's a sociopath, and I'm bipolar type 1, my brother was schizophrenic, my older half brother is completely bonkers, my half sister has Down syndrome. I mean, dude, I got the whole gamut, bro. We got every lick of the tree here. You know what I mean? So, okay, how about sociopaths?
Can I chime in? Yeah. Oh, you go. Sorry, interrupted.
You go.
Okay, I'm dating a sociopath who has ASPD. Not all narcissists are sociopath. They're in the same family, but they're different disorders. So I have MPD, he has ASPD, which is like the clinical term for a sociopath. If you can have both, though, and if you have both, you're known as what's called a malignant narcissist.
Oh, interesting. Okay. So what specifically is what do you mean malignant narcissist? What does that mean?
That just is the term for someone who has the diagnosis of both MPD and ASPD.
Okay, gotcha. So to kind of go into the question that was posed, I think that that's a great question for you to answer, because that is definitely something that like I've asked myself during those years of meditating and really focusing on mental health. I think that if you ask yourself those questions, your answers are going to be very revealing on who you are right now. And it's going to be very important for you to ask, because even though they're hard questions to ask, they're very revealing. Because it's like, am I treating people for my own benefit because they're human? Do I like this or that? That'll really expose yourself to yourself about what you're like. Now, for my own personal answer, people are people, man. I mean, like, this is kind of a misconception, is the fact that some people are others because even though they're hard questions. Oh, shit.
Oh, we just got Music Monday rolling up on a Wednesday. This is a first ever. Welcome to Woke Wellness Wednesday. Hello. Incoming. It's Pirate.
You thought I was fucking playing. I was gonna come.
I'm almost dead.
Hi, Rec. Welcome to the stream, brother. How you doing today?
I'm doing good.
We got every single flavor.
So
is it just me? Is her square black?
Who?
You.
Nothing for her is working except for her voice.
Yeah.
Right.
So I think so just kind of finish with my answer. I think the thing is the fact that if you're like, if you are looking at other people when it comes to just your own personal benefit, that's like a checkpoint for you mentally. You need to, like, if that is where you are, you need to take a step back from people and go, okay, I need to realize that, like, I'm not the center here.
Mhm.
And maybe this is a point for you where you like kind of define who you are, and you find like this moment where you can grow and you can become something more than what you were. But at the same time, it's like that's a checkpoint, because somebody is going to call you out if you continue to do that, because some people have no issue with doing that.
Yeah.
So the thing is, you are going to run into somebody at some point. I don't know when, where, or how, but they're going to call you out, and it's going to either completely shatter your perception of who you are, or it's going to basically like turn you into like a hermit where you just like never want to leave the house again.
Well, that already happened to me. I know that I used to use people for my own benefit. And now when I say everything's perception, I don't mean that I look at everyone I see and I'm like, oh, I can use them for that and use them for that. It's more so that I just feel like you can look at one person and I can be like, wow, they're so nice. And you can look at them and be like, oh, they're kind of an asshole. So it's really just perception as far as that goes. But I know what you mean. That definitely was a huge shock when I basically had to look that in the face and be like, wow, I treat people this way and I have to do something about it.
Yeah. I definitely had a question about that. I call it like free lunch. Like you look at people like, oh, I'm going to get free lunch today. Like, how did you, like, I understand like therapy is a big part of pulling yourself and like recognizing the like things that you would do and to avoid that behavior. But what is something that you found like maybe through therapy that was key to stop you from like taking control of those people that you saw as free lunch?
The biggest thing was I was in an abusive relationship with another narcissist, and that was like my final straw. That was basically like holding a mirror to myself and being like, wow, I do all these things to people. That person was a lot more vindictive than I was, but still, it was still like a mirror. And I was like, I can't do that. I need to change. I am not going to be this person anymore. And that was the biggest takeaway that I got from that relationship, aside from trauma. But, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, you see, the thing I love about Kylie is the fact that she's like a living, breathing example of what we should all be doing when it comes to looking inward instead of just putting everything outward.
Yeah, because I hate like projecting and bleeding like on my family and the people around me and my
sure.
friends. And then like you just sit back at the end of the day like, damn, like I could have handled that better.
Hey, yo, Dahlia, we had a question, just so you know.
Oh, there's a lot. So which one? Okay.
That one specific I was talking about.
Okay. How can people aware of BPD actually support deconstructing the stigma around BPD, both in real life and in online?
Okay, so in online, if you see someone who has MPD and they're trying to better themselves, don't automatically assume that they're lying or that it's for clout, because I get that a lot where it's like, oh, a real narcissist won't change, a real narcissist won't go to therapy. And it's like, why are you trying to bring down this group of people that already has trouble seeking help and having awareness? And I get it all the time. And it's like, if you hate narcissists so much, why don't you help them and be like, hey, I'm proud of you for advocating and like going to therapy, instead of being like, no, it's not real, it's fake, and like that kind of stuff. Online, in real life, I would say to not armchair diagnose, but rather set boundaries for yourself. If someone is doing a behavior you do not like, you don't need to put a label on it. If someone's being manipulative, you don't need to call them a narcissist or just being a manipulator, and you don't have to put up with the manipulation. You can set boundaries for yourself and be like, do I deserve this? Do I deserve, even if they are narcissists, like, does that matter? Like, what matters is how they treat me. And if they are a narcissist and they are in therapy and they are working on themselves, inquire about the disorder, inquire about what happened to them to make them this way. Usually it's trauma. And as long as they're putting in the work in and they're not doing anything like that's negatively impacting you, just learn, understand. People are all people. And
I will advocate for that, because the family member that I have that does have narcissistic tendencies, he is like, this family member is going to therapy. Like he is working on himself, and even though it was not an easy decision, this person is like doing what he can to like better that. And it took another family member for calling this person out. but at the same time, I feel like even if somebody calls you out, even if that reality of yourself is shattered, it's like this new, like, yeah, that kind of sucks in the moment, but that's a new stepping stone. That's like a new milestone in your life where you're like, okay, now I'm going to do this new chapter where it's like, I'm no longer in my old ways, I'm learning new ways.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, people with narcissistic tendencies or narcissism in general can change, but the first thing you have to do is acknowledge it.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
First thing you have to do.
Yeah, the person has to be aware of it and actually want to change, like with anything. I
Yeah.
feel like I have a close family member to me that definitely has narcissistic tendencies, but like they're so old and they're like from like just from a different generation. They don't see the point in going to therapy or even anything is wrong. So it's like I can't even fight with you because you don't even see the problem I see.
Yeah, dude, exactly. It's like they're looking through like blinders.
And
Where it's
online, there's this saying that is always perpetuated that is narcissists do not know they're narcissists. So if you wonder if you're a narcissist, that means you're not one. I see this all of the time on social media, a lot by these like MPD abuse coaches who are not actual professionals. Like, I don't know if y'all have seen them, but I see it all the time. And I have wondered for years if I was a narcissist. And surprise, surprise, I was one. I am capable of like reflection and introspection. Everyone is. So for them to perpetuate that is a huge problem because that will make people be like, oh, I'm wondering if I'm a narcissist, so that means I must not be. So
yeah. So Kylie, I'm interested what you have to say about this. Chiquita Feminista said that cultural narcissism.
What is that?
So like almost this culture where like this culture of diagnosing people. Like,
oh yeah,
culture of people where we are able to diagnose based on behaviors where it's like, no, it's not this way, it's this way in reality. But they're like, no. If they do this, that means this for sure. But it's like it's not that way. So it's like it's almost this culture of misdiagnoses.
it's just a hive mind because a lot of it is just this social media like an amalgam, I don't know the word, like just this like huge construction of all these misconceptions that are like constantly being misconstrued all the time. And
Amalgamation.
that and it's just it's out of control. A few years ago you barely heard the word narcissist. Now it's in everyone's vocabulary.
So it
Yeah.
says here, so Jen said, do you think being a narcissist can come from being a survivalist?
It comes from trauma. It comes from childhood neglect or any sort of situation in your childhood that just essentially caused you to form these defense mechanisms. So yeah, in a way, survivalist because it causes resilience and this armor, like I said, this protective armor. But I wouldn't necessarily say survivalist. I would just say trauma.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry, Eric, you were gonna say something. I interrupted.
I lost my thought. It's cool. We can go.
Okay. Sorry, bro. I saw the comment.
There's a one that was before this. Where did it go? Is it still difficult being vulnerable with people even after, during treatment and in therapy?
Oh, absolutely. I was in therapy for years when before meeting my partner, and when I met my partner, it was still so hard to say that I loved him or that I cared about him, and I still find like difficulty doing that. And I really struggle with making videos about my relationship with him just because I feel weak. I feel like a bad person. I feel guilty for showing any sort of love or positivity or vulnerability because I grew up thinking that was bad. And I grew up thinking that's like, you don't do that. You show fear, you show cruelty, you show malice. And so I've had to unlearn that, and I'm still unlearning that.
What dang. So like, cause I have BPD. So like one of the things I struggle with is like self-sabotage because I think certain people are going to work their way out of my life.
Mm-hmm.
So I can only imagine like with this survivalistic, I'm gonna push everything away and be hard, along with having the fear of being rejected. It can like make this super wall to keep people back.
100%.
So Claudia asked us, she said, thank you, Kylie. She asked if you're going to be doing lives on YouTube.
I don't usually use YouTube. I mainly use Instagram. I do go live on Instagram with my partner sometimes. My partner has ASPD, and we do like to answer questions.
What is ASPD?
So that's the sociopath.
What does that mean?
Sociopathy?
Oh,
is that-
socio. Yeah. I guess you guys keep saying BPD. I always call it bipolar. Am I saying
No.
I'm
I have bipolar 1, but BPD is borderline personality disorder.
Ooh.
Oh, I said ASPD, antisocial personality disorder. The acronyms are very similar.
No. He was helping me know where.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Acronyms go crazy.
Oh, what a juicy question. Oh my goodness, ladies and gentlemen. You're really doing a number. Okay.
She want the tea.
Yeah, we got Music Monday meeting. We'll go Chicana Feminista, Kylie.
Did I resolve with ex-partners? Yeah, I did reach out and apologize to pretty much all of them. Most of them forgave me, except for the one that was a traumatic one that caused like all of that bullshit that essentially made me seek therapy. That one didn't resolve. The rest, I usually left the relationships unless they were really secure in themselves and it was like a month or two in and they were like, yeah, you're fucked, I'm leaving, I'm out. I don't really consider them exes. It was more just like casual dating. But as far as like my actual long-term relationships, I made amends with them.
Dang, I should probably do that with one of my exes. I heard a lot.
Yeah, they said they really appreciated the apology. All of them did in their own way. So
Very good.
I should definitely do that. I feel bad about that.
I should do that too.
So many questions. If you're tired, let us know. Did you find it hard to apologize to people? Like, do you find it hard to acknowledge something wrong you've done towards someone else?
I sometimes find, and this is more a few years ago, and I still feel this way now, but I found apologizing annoying, and it was just like, why are you confronting me with this? It's not a big deal, and it's just aggravating because I had to like fake this empathy that I didn't actually have for the person, especially if they were upset and crying, and it was just like, oh my God, why are we having this whole big thing? But as far as apologies now, I can do it, but I still tend to make it more about me because I'll go into this mode of like, oh my God, they hate me, they're going to leave me, they're going to abandon me, and then I just make it all about me, and it's like, I shouldn't be apologizing for that. I shouldn't be talking about that. I should be like, talking about the actual issue.
I can hear that because I definitely have a problem with that. Like it's like a half-ass apology.
Yep.
What do you guys mean by that?
It's basically like one rule I try to follow is if I'm gonna apologize to you, I'm not gonna drop a but in there because that can like be a segue to me turning the situation of my apology about me and how I was done wrong. If I'm gonna apologize, I'm sorry for doing what I did. Like take ownership and leave it at that.
Mm-hmm.
That's good. Don't drop the butt when you're apologizing. Yeah,
because it all if you drop a butt, you're always gonna be like, I was dealing with this, or you did this, or I was having a bad day. Like, no, that's not a real apology.
Yep.
Dahlia, you just like blurry and still.
Yeah, she's been.
Why? I'm still here.
Girl,
is narcissism curable? Is narcissism curable?
It's not curable, but it is manageable with treatment and therapy. You just gotta put the work in.
Bipolar ain't curable, man. I know one day I will lose my shit and the house that came with it. Yeah, but that is for a different episode.
Okay.
No,
it's just an accent out of nowhere, just like crazy.
You gotta give a full ass apology. You know what? Can we all agree that we want full ass apologies in life? Can we just meet there?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
the
big there. Donkey booty.
I want full ass apologies. Okay, I want it like a Cubana, like Latina, like
Dime.
Dahlia.
Yes, I want full ass apologies. Okay. I think society. No. I'm going to go on a little bit of a tangent before I close. Okay, I just feel like we're in a society where it's like we can make this mass appeal to this image that we portray ourselves, and then that kind of like because we get opportunities through that, we forget how to treat people in real life. I think it's just the biggest disconnection of just like, oh, are you gonna put your phone down when you're talking to me? Like, does that trigger you guys? And then like, are you really getting a full ass apology in society anymore? I want to know.
Yeah.
Well, it depends on the person. Some people apologize with wholeheartedly every single time. Some people are like, fuck it.
Don't chat GPT my apology.
I love it. You guys, there's like so many people in here, and I can already feel the love, and everybody's kind of getting down to the nitty gritty. Ziggin, wait, what? What? I find myself having to apologize too often.
Are you just moving on demon time, or like do you really just be like hurting hearts? Like, well, I guess that's the same thing as moving on demon time.
What's your definition of too often?
Huh?
That's what I mean. Like, are you moving on demon time and hurting feelings like this, or are you over apologizing?
Oh, that's true. That's true. Yeah, that's good food for thought right there. That's good food for thought. Kylie, before we end the stream here, do you have any closing remarks like from this conversation?
Just that if you see videos about MPD, BPD, any sort of disorder, look at that with an open mind and try to challenge your preconceptions, because not everyone with the disorder looks the same, and we're all people, we're all striving and struggling also too in our own ways, and therefore just treat people with kindness, whatever. If you see someone with MPD that's seeking help, don't automatically assume that they're not actually doing it. Try to take it at face value.
I agree. That's the main reason I popped on here, because I have friends with a lot of different disorders, but I never met somebody with your disorder. I'm like, damn, I gotta talk to her. Yeah. Or they. I don't want to miss
either.
Okay.
I mean, I think that's a huge takeaway too.
I did, Jen Ziggin. I did. I liked this episode quite a lot. We are over an hour. I'm sure everyone's a bit exhausted.
Dahlia, I want to say something real quick.
Okay, yes, do it.
I can't see how cute you are because of your shitty internet.
My internet is messing up my whole aura. This episode was so fire. You cannot see the.
I can't see how beautiful you is, girl.
No!
Dahlia, you look like a really. Dahlia, you look like a really.
I'm from the Bronx. I'm from the Bronx. Do that accent. I'm from the Bronx. Jen Ziggin is from the Bronx. You heard?
The Aki way. You say that, don't y'all?
Wait,
the Aki way.
Bronx do? What do the Bronx do?
Chopped cheese. A chopped cheese.
Dahlia, you look like a really badly dubbed over version of a movie.
I look like what?
Dahlia Light.
Wow.
No worries.
You know what? I was so ready for this episode. I got my chain on. The other one popped off.
Girl, I cannot see that shit.
Wow. The one day I dress up for everybody. Ridiculous. Ridiculous. The one day I actually got stuff in the mail, unboxed,
being savage,
put on a face. Wow. You see the shit I deal with, everybody. By the way, if you guys had an amazing time, this is Stay Woke or Not Music Monday and Woke Wellness Wednesday. You guys tuned in on a Wednesday. This is the website. If you guys are feeling free to support, we got beanies, hoodies, dog hoodies, my dog. And then we got cell phone covers all the way to coffee beans. Oh yeah.
We're gonna be looking out for a coffee commercial that's gonna be airing, I hope, pretty soon.
Oh yeah. Stay Woke or Not's gonna be having a very busy summer. We're gonna keep you caffeinated. We're gonna keep you ready to go.
What's your favorite that you guys sell?
What mine? I like the Tanzania. I really do. Also the flavor, the variety pack. Where did I go with my website? Hold on. Where am I?
What an African one at though?
Oh yeah, it's there. What do you mean? Yeah, you here? No, I'm just kidding. All right,
That's a good one.
You had it coming. You only had yourself to blame.
Yeah.
Oh, look, see, African Kawana blend.
What a Nigerian one though? What a Dominican one though?
What do you mean? Page 2, maybe. All right, hold on.
What a Dominican one though?
Blondes. It was a blonde. Blondes. What?
We are so off track right now.
I know, right? Like rabbit hole.
I don't know.
Look, Nicaragua, Ethiopia, Costa Rica, Colombia, Brazil, Santos, Bali Blue.
The Caribbean, girl.
Holy shit, the Latina just came out of you. Holy my God.
Entonces, ya tú sabes. Bienvenidos a the Woke Wellness Wednesday. Sí, mucho gusto. Gracias para la
Mucho
gente.
gusto.
Chicana is the funniest bitch. Yes. Oh, I'm watching from Europe. Yes.
Oh my God, girl, what time is it?
Damn.
You awake? What you doing?
We're international, ladies and gentlemen. This topic went around the world.
Is your computer smoking?
Oh my
Yo,
God.
you got balloons?
My screen.
How you do that?
I don't know. I don't know how I did that. I don't know. That was the most magical ending I've ever had. I don't know how my screen had balloons.
Holy shit.
Oh, I don't want to know. Oh, you guys are too funny. Okay, I definitely think we're here for the people. I mean, you guys, what an amazing
Gora.
time. Namaste. Thank you guys for tuning in. If you haven't, like and sub, say whoa or
Thank you,
not.
Kylie, for joining us today. We
Thanks
really
for
do
having me.
appreciate it.
Thanks for being a dope person.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for being a dope person. Oh,
Dude,
yeah.
we
Why
got
don't
3 co-hosts on right
questions?
now. This is sick.
Damn.
No.
That's like they still asking.
So, guys, if you guys want a part 2 where we can answer these questions later on, please let us know. We were happy to have Kylie back on. We still have questions for Kylie to answer on here. So if you guys do want a part 2, please let us know in the comments. Let us know on social media. Let us know because we will get that scheduled for you guys.
You loved it. We brought it. You liked it. Okay.